Whenever government wants to come up with some of their neoliberal policies, they actually come with this excuse of there is no money, it is not sustainable, and many other issues around what they call economic realities. Our first answer to them is that the poor students and their parents are not the ones who caused the economic realities in the first place. So the burden of fixing that economic reality or the responsibility of where you've brought this economy to should not be transferred to these poor people who have been pauperized already by that economic reality. So you do not create a society where there is inequality, there is hardship, there is poverty, and then still transfer, the hardship to these people who are just merely receiving 30,000 naira minimum wage as of today. That is number one. Number two is to say that when the president announced that he was going to remove subsidy, one of the reasons was that when we remove subsidy, the money we are going to save from this removal would be put into education and health. These were the two sectors he mentioned, wanting to sound progressive. That, oh, that is where we're going to put the money into. Only for us to wake up to find out that the subsidy in education has also been removed. So who is deceiving who? So the money you said you've saved, and you know as a journalist that he also mentioned that in 2 months they've been able to save 1 trillion naira. If I'm not mistaken, 1 trillion naira in 2 months. That means from the time subsidy has been removed to this time, you must have saved close to 5 trillion. How much has ASU been asking for? ASU has been asking for 1.1 trillion naira since 2009. And 1.1 trillion naira, they were not even asking for it at once. They said you can break this into tranches. 220 billion, per year and all of that. But this is a government that claims that they saved 1 trillion naira in just 2 months. So why then don't you just put that money in the right, in the investments that you claim you are going to put it in the first place? That's to show you that we are dealing with a government that is infidel, and education is actually not their priority. So the end goal for this government is to privatize education totally. And so when they come up with these arguments, these are the things we bring forward to them. That you said you were going to do this, which is that you're going to take subsidy money and you're going to put it in education, but now you have removed subsidy also from education. So it shows that you are insincere and you are insensitive to the plight of Nigerians. It is not even at this time, school fees should be increased by 600%. The hardship, the inflation and everything. And whenever, and that's one thing Nigerians must understand, whenever fees are inflated or are hiked on campuses, every other thing on campus goes up. Because the average cab driver would also, he has his own wards, his own children in University of Lagos too. Our lecturers also, they have their children in the school. How much is the lecturer earning? The highest paid professor in Nigeria today takes home 406,000 naira. 406,000 naira. The highest paid professor who must have read all the books in this world. 406,000. And that professor, if he has 2 or 3 children at the University of Lagos who are now paying 190,000, 210,000, depending on the department and faculty, where would they get that money to? And that's just school fees. We're not talking about accommodation. We're not talking about feeding. We're not talking about transportation. We're not talking about projects. So where would they get money to shore up these expenses? So these are the issues. And as we are saying this, we are also using this as a medium to reach out to the staff unions too, because it is going to have a ripple effect even on their own employment. It has happened before at LASU in 2013. The lecturers thought they were not, when the fees were hiked from 25,000 to 315,000 for law and other departments like that. The lecturers thought they were not concerned until they started receiving letter of, to rescind their employments. Because in a class where you have 50 students before, you now have 20, you have 10. So what would the university do? They will have to send you home too. And that was why they joined the struggle, and the fees were reverted to 25,000 after a year of protest and mass demonstration. So it is also a call to lecturers that you are on the verge of losing your jobs too, and you should join this struggle for fees to fall.